Hey guys, today I am back with another DC Multiverse review. Up today we have the McFarlane Collector Edition DC Multiverse Abyss. Abyss, the new character that Josh Williamson created. Let's get into it. So here they are up in the packaging, and of course we have the standard Build-A-Figure style packaging here with the slightly whiter packaging here. Of course, this is different. We've got the McFarlane Collector Edition for this new collector line, because this is the part of the collector line. And of course, we have DC Multiverse, and then of course that laminated nameplate again for Abyss. On the other side, we of course have the silver nameplate with Abyss again. DC Multiverse logo right there. On the bottom, we have a number 3. So this is number 3 in the collector line. On the back, we have this beautiful art of one of the Batmans from Joshua Williamson's run. I don't know what issue it is, but it definitely looks like that run. And then, of course, you have Abyss from apparently Batman vs. Abyss, which might be something in Batman Incorporated, I don't know. But then we, of course, have down there all the McFarlane Toys social medias. Of course, follow them at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. On the back, we, of course, have the McFarlane Collector Edition Abyss from Batman vs. Abyss, which that doesn't sound right. I think they just put something there. But then, of course, we have DC Multiverse right there, and number 3 right there, because they are the third figure in the wave. And then of course you have McFarlane Toys logo down at the bottom. Then you have all the Batman legalese and stuff like that. Nice black on white on black right there. And then you of course have the barcode right there. Yeah, that's it. But, of course, let's get this figure out of the packaging. And alright guys, here we have Abyss out of the packaging. And of course, before we take a look at the figure and the other contents that are with the figure, we're of course going to take a look at some basic necessities. I'm pretty sure you know what those are. But first things first, we're going to start with the hockey puck. And apparently for these DC collected edition hockey pucks, they made it a different color paint. It's silver paint, so I guess that's good. Just being like, oh yes, DC. You can see it now. But of course we have the one peg, and looks like the 4 little printout molds right there. And then we also come with this card holder here, which I can take or leave it. It's literally just plastic they throw in. And then it, of course, comes with, if I can get it in there. Like so. The individualized card, and it has this really good looking, it's probably a Batman Incorporated cover or something like that. And then, of course, I have McFarlane the Collector's Edition right there with, of course, a Batman comic cover. And then on the back, we, of course, have right there. Yup, that's pretty much it. It's a cool concept, for sure. And then also, we have an alternate hand, because, of course, you have a gesture hand right here, which is what I have Abyss doing right now. Abyss is kind of doing a gesture hand kind of thing. Very pointy gesture hand, very sharp. But then they also have another gripping hand. So you can grip this scythe thing. And we're going to talk about the scythe thing. And I'm going to demonstrate one of its abilities just so I can get it out and not mess with anything. But it splits apart, because that is one of Abyss's things, like you can see on the card. Their scythe staff thing splits in 2, and it does here. And you can combine it like so. It has the good peg hole system right there. And it looks like that. It looks pretty cool. It's a cool little accessory right there. I think it's pretty dope. Not much I can say about it besides that. But yeah, overall, Abyss is one of those characters where like I actually was reading the Batman comics right around the time I started reading Batman comics right around the time Abyss was invented, created by Joshua Williamson during his run on Batman throughout the Dark Crisis kind of era, where like he was when he was writing Shadow War. And basically, Joshua Williamson took, I believe it was, I want to say it was 8 issues or something, and he told Shadow War, which was kind of this mini thing kind of leading up into Dark Crisis. And he did like his only like Batman-centric arc, really, he did was introducing a new villain, as comic book writers tend to do for Batman. They always introduce new Batman villains because they always want to have the next man-bat ratio, cool, whatever. And Joshua Williamson wrote Abyss. And of course, Abyss's powers is they control the darkness. Just like the Shade. It's quite literally the Shade's abilities, except no. Abyss is supposed to be this, like, they kind of teased Abyss as kind of like this horror monster. I remember that's what they were teasing it as. And then I read the actual arc that Abyss was in, and it was just kind of like, oh. But, yeah, unfortunately, poor execution on Joshua Williamson's part. And I hope Abyss turns up in the future as a decent Batman villain or ally, whichever one Josh or any other writer does with Abyss. But we're of course going to get in the figure now after I was talking about the character and everything else but the figure. But up first, I really like how they did the hood. I always like when McFarlane does hooded figures. Ever since Azrael, they've nailed the hood. And of course, that mask looks straight out of the book. It's exactly the way you'd expect from Abyss, and you, of course, got the purple interiors there, and of course, the cloth texturing, absolutely superb. And of course, you got the short, tattered cape right there, which looks really cool right there. And then you've got this slender body right here with the rib kind of things poking out of it, and you've got some deep texturing in there. And then you, of course, have all of the different gauntlets, and you got the sharp claws right there, and it's really exaggerated with this hand here because of the gesture hand. You get those claws right there, and then you of course get the ab kind of things working out right there. You got the pouches right there, get the knee pads right there, shin guards, shoes, all that good stuff. And I'm not going to reveal who the identity of Abyss is because relatively new character, literally like 1 or 2 years old by this point. Abyss is a very new character, so if you haven't read the arc, I'm not going to spoil it for you. But when I initially was reading it, I thought it was somebody else. I thought it was something else entirely than what it was, and this figure reflects that. It reflects that mystery of like, oh, who's Abyss? And then you find out nobody really cares. But besides that, I think it looks decently cool. And then you, of course, yeah, knee pads right there, all that good stuff. And Todd does do the work of making the different things look different. Even though there is an obvious color disparity between the gauntlet there and the actual hand. It's slightly darker, but you can totally notice it. But yeah, it's just a thing I thought I should put in the video. But it's also the same color as the pants, so who knows. But overall, very solid figure. But let's get into articulation. Abyss, of course, has a lot of mobility in the head. They can only look straight across because of the hood, but they look down decently well. And you, of course, can move all around. But a lot of mobility in the head, especially for a hood figure. And then, of course, they have the hinged shoulders right there with the butterfly joint in there. You have bicep swivel. You have double jointed elbows, which work very well because of the shoulder pad. And then you, of course, have the McFarlane standard wrist hinges right there, which can do the roll of the dice hinge, and then you can rotate it like so. And it's a little tricky on this figure, and then you can do in and out like so. Love these wrist joints, absolutely love them. Let's get that rotated back around so you don't see the peg. A lot of mobility in the abs, very good in the abs. Can bend very far forward. Very far forward. This is probably the best ab crunch we've gotten on a McFarlane figure in a while. And decently far back. Why do they move so far back? It's ridiculous. And then, of course, you got the standard McFarlane style hips right there. Abyss moves that far forward, that far back. Abyss is barely even thigh pivot. They have double jointed knees right there. And Abyss, I noticed, has a little swivel up inside the actual leg. So I'm wondering if that's going to be a collector's edition exclusive joint, or if that's going to travel over to all the other figures. But really cool that they decided to do this swivel up above the knee right there. And then, of course, you have the ankles hinging down like that, up like so. I believe they can hinge out, but they can pivot, but it looks like they can, but my particular figure doesn't. Oh, there we are. Yeah, it works. I guess it's just that foot just doesn't want to seem to budge on my figure, and I don't want to risk it. And then, so it does pivot, and then, of course, toe articulation, like so. And here we are with some more modern Batman villains. We, of course, have, in my opinion, the last classic villain of Batman. There hasn't been a classic villain since he was created, but Bane right there. We, of course, have the Arkham Knight right there, Hush right there, and then of course our new Abyss and Talon right there. And I'm thinking, because of course Arkham Knight is a game figure, but I still think these guys still look in line with each other, especially Abyss and Talon over here. I'm seeing a lot of design choices that are intermittent with these two, especially, that just gives it that nice little bit of cohesion there. But if you want to set up like a post-90s Batman villains display, there you go. And here is Abyss with my favorite Batman villains. We, of course, have Arkham City, Ra's al Ghul, Mr. Freeze, and Killing Joker, with, of course, Bane again, because, you know, Bane's that iconic. But I think Abyss looks pretty decent here. Probably doesn't fit in too well with mobster Killing Joker here. But I think Abyss fits in very well with, especially probably more Freeze than anybody here. Then probably Bane, and then probably Joker and Raish back there. Abyss doesn't really fit in with Raish that well. I'm sorry. Raish is hyper realistic, but not. And Abyss is just a straight up comic fig. Like, those proportions do not add up. Here we are. I had to put them together, but we of course have Abyss next to Jason Fabok, Three Jokers Batman. And I think these look the best together because, I mean, we don't have the Batman Incorporated Batman yet. We don't have that suit yet. But this is pretty close right here. And it felt weird putting in a blue Batman, which is pretty much all I had left to compare outside the movie figs, and I didn't want to deal with that. But these two look great. Absolutely fantastic. No notes. Alright guys, that'll do it for the end of this review for Abyss here. And overall, I think Abyss is a cool figure. You could definitely do a lot of ninja stuff with Abyss. Get in, like, I don't know, like do some ACBA with like Ghostmaker, Ra's al Ghul, somebody with weapons. And I think you'll have a really good time posing this figure around with other figures. But besides that, if you're not looking for Batman villains, if you're not looking for a cool figure on your shelf, I mean, if you're looking for the like best of the best, the most iconic characters, this is definitely not one for you. Todd definitely just found Abyss in a comic and was like, I'm gonna make that. And he did. But I mean, Abyss is a cool figure. I give them a solid, I'd say 8 out of 10. I don't like the character too much, so that's why I can't like fully recommend it and why I feel very torn about it. But Abyss is a good figure, even though I don't really care for the character. But alright guys, that's it for this review. Of course, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And also, I'm going to pose you guys a little question. Which movie character did I rip this pose off of for Abyss right here? First person who gets it right gets a cookie. How about that? They get a cookie. But of course, also comment down below what you think of this here figure right here. I love interacting with you guys. It's one of my favorite times of the day when I actually do get the chance to do it. But again, that's all. Thank you for watching. Keep collecting. And be peaceful and kindful out there, y'all. Peace.